Okay, girl, before we even start, I have to tell you what happened at the gym yesterday because I'm still not over it. Like, I woke up this morning and physically cringed remembering it. Anyway, while you're stepping one foot back into pyramid pose, just take your time here. Let that stretch settle into the back of your leg. Honestly, my hamstrings needed this after everything that happened. So, yesterday I was feeling weirdly confident. You know those mornings where everything just works? My hair actually behaved. I found matching gym clothes first try. I remembered my water bottle without having to run back inside. I was thinking, wow, maybe I'm finally becoming one of those organized girls. Looking back, that confidence lasted approximately 12 minutes. Take one more slow breath here, then whenever you're ready, switch sides. So I walk into the gym, smile at the receptionist, scan my little membership card like I own the place, and she smiles at me and goes, "Love your water bottle." Now, this becomes important later. At the time I just smiled and said, "Aw, thank you." Internally though, I was ridiculously proud. Like, yes, thank you. I picked this emotional support water bottle myself. Anyway, I'm walking past the treadmills and I hear music coming from one of the studios. Not loud club music, just really happy music. Everyone inside looked so relaxed. People were laughing, stretching, chatting. It honestly looked like the nicest class ever. So my brain immediately went, ooh, that looks fun. Which, in hindsight, was the beginning of my downfall. Come up slowly and find your standing side bend. Reach one arm overhead and lean across. Don't force anything, just breathe into that side body. Honestly, this stretch always feels so satisfying. So I look through the window and think, I've definitely got time before my workout. Then I see a few more people walking in. Without thinking, I just follow them. No questions, no checking the timetable, no asking what class it was, nothing. The confidence I had was honestly concerning. It's like my brain went, we've made excellent decisions all morning, let's keep the streak alive. Girl, the streak ended immediately. Switch sides nice and slowly, take another breath. Perfect. So I grab a mat, put my water bottle down, smile at a couple of people, even said, "Morning," like I'd been coming every Tuesday for the last 5 years. Nobody questioned me, which somehow made me even more confident. Then the lady next to me smiled and asked, "Is this your first time?" Now, looking back, that was clue number 1. Instead of asking why she was asking, I smiled and went, "Yeah, but I've done similar stuff before." Why did I say that? Be so for real. I had absolutely no idea what similar stuff even meant. Yoga? Pilates? Mobility? Competitive backflips? I didn't know. I was just saying words. Come back to standing and settle into mountain pose. Feet grounded, shoulders relaxed. Take one really deep breath. This is probably the calmest part of my entire story, because about 10 seconds later, the instructor walked in. She was so lovely, huge smile, really welcoming. She clapped her hands together and said, "Good morning, everyone." Everyone smiled back. Then she looked around the room and said, "I always love seeing new faces." And, I swear, she looked directly at me. I gave the most awkward little wave you've ever seen. Like, not a full wave, just enough to acknowledge that yes, I was, in fact, the new face. Then she smiled and said, "Today we're doing our advanced mobility flow." Girl, advanced? I genuinely looked behind me because I thought maybe she'd walked into the wrong room. Nope, advanced. My stomach actually dropped. I started wondering how awkward it would be if I just left. Like, could I pretend I'd forgotten something? Maybe my keys? My phone? My entire personality? Ease down into chair pose whenever you're ready. Sit the hips back, reach the arms up, Take another slow breath. I remember thinking, it can't be that advanced. They probably just call it advanced to sound impressive. Honestly, I've never been so confidently wrong in my entire life, because what happened next made me question every life decision that had led me to that exact room. Okay, so I'm sitting there in chair pose, smiling on the outside, but internally, girl, my soul had already started writing its resignation letter. Anyway, whenever you're ready, step back into Warrior 1. Take your time finding your balance. Honestly, this pose feels way more stable than I felt in that room. So the instructor goes, "All right, everyone, let's begin with a gentle warm-up." And I'm thinking, see, I knew it. Advanced was just a dramatic title. Maybe these people were overreacting. Maybe I accidentally belonged here. For approximately 30 seconds. Because then she demonstrated the first movement. I watched her fold herself into a shape that genuinely looked AI generated. Like, her leg was somehow behind her shoulder, one arm was reaching across her body, and she was still smiling while explaining it. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there thinking, girl, are humans supposed to bend like that? Everyone around me nodded. Nobody looked confused. Nobody looked surprised. They all just casually copied her, like this was completely normal behavior. I was looking around the room, hoping to find another confused beginner. Nope, not one. It was just me, and 19 incredibly flexible people who apparently had joints made from cooked spaghetti. Take another slow breath here, then gently move into reverse warrior. Reach up and back, open through the side body. Honestly, this stretch would have been amazing yesterday because my entire body was trying to escape through the emergency exit. So we're flowing through the poses, and I'm surviving. Barely. I'm doing that thing where you're looking at literally everyone else every 2 seconds because you've got absolutely no idea what's happening. Trying to be subtle, except I wasn't subtle at all. Every time I'd look left, someone caught me looking. Look right, someone else caught me. At one point, I accidentally made eye contact with the instructor while I was upside down. I don't even know how that happened. She just smiled, which somehow made me feel worse, because now I wanted to succeed for her. Spoiler alert, I did not. Shift across into Skandasana whenever you're ready. Take your time. There's absolutely no rush. Which is exactly what I should have told myself yesterday. So then the instructor says, "Now let's all move into the next pose." Simple enough, except everyone moved at exactly the same time, like one giant synchronized dance, and I completely froze. My brain had disconnected. I couldn't remember where my left foot was. I wasn't sure which direction I was facing anymore. Honestly, I briefly forgot my own name. I looked around. Everybody was already settled into the next position. Meanwhile, I was standing there doing something. To this day, I still don't know what pose I accidentally invented. It definitely wasn't yoga. It looked more like someone trying to climb into the back seat of a tiny car. The girl beside me glanced over, paused for a second, then very politely whispered, "Wrong leg." Wrong leg? Girl! At that point, I wasn't even convinced I had legs. I quietly switched sides like nothing had happened. Pretended I'd totally meant to do that. Oscar-worthy acting, honestly. Lower yourself down into extended puppy pose. Walk your hands forward. Let your chest melt toward the floor. This pose genuinely feels like the first deep breath after a really stressful day. Which reminds me, I finally started relaxing. I thought, okay, I've embarrassed myself enough. Surely the worst is over. Then the instructor cheerfully announced, "Let's pair up for the next section." Pair up? Pair up! Nobody said there would be teamwork. I specifically came to the gym so I could avoid interacting with people. Suddenly, everyone was happily finding partners, like they'd all known each other forever. I just stood there, holding my emotional support water bottle, trying not to look like the last kid waiting to be picked in PE. Eventually, the sweetest girl walked over to me. She smiled and said, "Want to be partners?" Honestly, I nearly hugged her. I was so relieved. I thought, finally, something is going right. If only I'd known. Meeting her was actually the beginning of the most embarrassing part of this entire story. Okay, so now I've got a partner. Instant confidence boost. I'm thinking... See, the universe felt bad for me. This is my redemption arc. Anyway, ease down into dragon pose whenever you're ready. Let your hips slowly sink. Honestly, this stretch is exactly what my ego needed after the last 10 minutes. So this girl was genuinely the sweetest person ever. She smiled and said, "Don't worry, the first class is always the hardest." Immediately I relaxed. I thought, amazing, she gets it. She's going to help me survive. Then she asked, "So, how long have you been doing mobility?" Girl, why does everyone keep asking me questions I don't know how to answer? I panicked, again, and instead of saying, "Oh, this is actually my first class," I somehow replied, "Oh, on and off." On and off what? Reality? Common sense? Because it certainly wasn't mobility. Switch sides nice and slowly. Take your time settling in. So she's smiling, I'm smiling, we're chatting. I'm desperately trying to keep this conversation alive without exposing myself. Then she says, "Oh, perfect! Then you'll already know this next stretch." No, I would not. The confidence I'd accidentally created for myself was now becoming my biggest enemy. It's honestly incredible how fast one tiny lie snowballs. 1 minute you're pretending you've done yoga before. The next you're expected to demonstrate flexibility like you're auditioning for Cirque du Soleil. Fold into double pigeon whenever you're ready. This pose, every single time, reminds me that my hips have been personally offended by sitting at a computer all week. Take a nice deep breath. So we're both setting up. She folds forward effortlessly, like gravity just loves her. Meanwhile, I'm trying to work out which shin goes where. I'm quietly moving my legs around, pretending I'm making little adjustments, when in reality, I have absolutely no clue what configuration they're supposed to be in. At one point I looked down, and honestly, it resembled someone trying to untangle Christmas lights. She looked over, paused, and very sweetly goes, "I think your legs are backwards." I didn't even know that was possible. How do you put your legs backwards? I just laughed. Like, what else do you do? There's a point where embarrassment becomes so ridiculous that it circles back around to being funny. I think I reached that point yesterday. Switch sides whenever you're ready, nice and slowly, no rush. The funny thing is, once I stopped trying to look like I knew everything, I actually started enjoying myself. I wasn't worrying about being perfect anymore. I wasn't trying to copy everyone exactly. I was just there, breathing, stretching, occasionally existing in the completely wrong pose, but still having fun. Honestly, that's probably the biggest lesson my dramatic little brain needed. Ease into compass pose, and remember, this pose looks different on literally everyone, which is comforting, because yesterday I accidentally invented 3 entirely new yoga poses. So then, right when I thought the class was almost over, the instructor walked over. Not in a scary way, she was smiling. But you know when a teacher starts walking toward your desk? Instant panic. She crouches beside me and says, "Can I help you deepen the stretch?" Now, I should have just said, "No thank you." Simple, easy, completely normal. Instead, I nodded. "Girl, why?" She gently adjusted my shoulder, adjusted my hip, asked me to breathe. Everything was fine until my stomach made the loudest noise I've ever heard in public. Not a tiny little rumble, not a cute hunger noise. I'm talking full surround sound, like someone had started a lawnmower under the yoga mat. Silence, complete silence. Then, growl. I closed my eyes immediately, because if I couldn't see anyone else, maybe they couldn't see me. That's definitely how science works. The instructor stopped moving. The girl beside me looked at me. I looked at absolutely nobody. Then, without missing a beat, the instructor smiled and quietly said, "I think somebody's ready for lunch." Girl, I have never recovered so quickly and so slowly at the exact same time. The whole room laughed, not in a mean way, just one of those really genuine laughs that somehow made everything feel okay. And that's when I realized I had spent the entire class worrying everyone was judging me, when actually, everyone was just there to have a... Anyway, slowly press into bridge pose whenever you're ready. Lift the hips just enough to feel your chest open. And honestly, looking back, I'm really glad I accidentally walked into the wrong class. At the time, it felt like the most embarrassing thing ever, but literally nobody cared that I wasn't perfect. If anything, everyone was just really kind. Ease into reclined butterfly. Let your knees fall open. Take a slow breath. It's funny because I went into that class thinking everyone was watching me, when in reality, everyone was way too busy trying not to fall over themselves. Bring your knees gently into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. I definitely left with sore hips, a bruised ego, and somehow 3 new friends. Not exactly what I'd planned when I woke up that morning. Reach into one last full body stretch. Take up as much space as you need. And if there's one thing yesterday taught me, it's that nobody remembers the person who wasn't perfect. They remember the person who laughed at themselves. Slowly let everything relax into your final resting pose. Let your shoulders soften, unclench your jaw. Let your breathing return to whatever feels natural. Thank you for stretching with me today. I hope your body feels a little lighter, your mind feels a little quieter, and if you ever accidentally walk into the wrong fitness class, just commit to the bit. Apparently it works out in the end. I'll see you in the next one. Good night, girl.